Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. It's a cold 20 degrees, frigid Christmas Eve morning 2022. We have two Kentucky bourbon whiskeys, both with no age statement. So I don't know how long they're aged, but we know by law that's at least 4 years. So the first one is the mysterious Royal Blue with a crown, finest quality. Oh, really? Royal Kentucky bourbon whiskey with natural flavors. Right there is strange because if you read the Tax and Trade Bureau website, it says bourbon cannot have flavoring added unless it's blended bourbon, which this could be, but it doesn't say it's blended bourbon. Just like they got the Quality House blended whiskey, 70 proof. But the regulation said whiskey in the United States is at a minimum 80 proof. So I can't explain it. This is listed on their website only under product specifications. You know, it's just like a inventory list or a product list, and you can order it, I guess, if you're a wholesaler, but it wouldn't interest a consumer unless they just have real particular interest in products. There's no description of it on their website. You know it's Heaven Hill because of this neck. And it's the Heaven Hill bottle design, that's straight down cylindrical bottle. I bought this in Houston, Texas, okay? It was $7.99 for the bottle. That's all I could tell you. The Dixie Bassman says, good morning, Ron. Good morning to you. Merry Christmas Eve. Okay, here is Beam Repeal Batch. Non-chill filtered Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. Straight bourbon, so you know it doesn't have flavoring or coloring added. Introduced in 2018 to honor the 85th anniversary of the end of Prohibition and probably just to sell another product. Don't see it around much anymore, but it's still listed on the website. I got it for $12.87 at Walmart. Everybody else was selling it for $17.99. I got it for $12.87. So less than $4 difference for these two. Less than $4 difference in my case. Is there going to be a $4 difference? I would say yes. The Jim Beam is going to win, but we're going to find out. It's negative 22 where you are. I think we're a bit cooler in my neck of the woods. Yeah, Michigan. Oh man, that sounds like misery. I don't even like Louisiana. I always say this to people. Louisiana's too cold for me. It's too cold around here. Orangey was outside for an hour. She wanted to go outside. I thought, well, after 10, 15 minutes, she'd be crying to come back, or I should say ringing the bell to come back in, but she didn't till over an hour later. The cold doesn't seem to bother her too much. She was outside all day in the freezing weather, and she just didn't seem to care. Okay. Of course, that cat's covered with fur. All right. Royal. When was it introduced? Couldn't tell you. It's not even trademarked. Look, there's no indication that this Royal is a trademark. Shows you how worried they are about. They say, why even pay the money to trademark? Ain't nobody going to try to copy it. And I bet that's the case. Apparently, it's been around a long time. I mean, long time, like decades. I saw some old photos of Royal Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. Royal Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. Is there still a Kentucky straight bourbon called Royal? Well, I guess it's possible. This isn't the one. Like I said, this is just bourbon whiskey with natural flavors. Here's what it looks like. Looks, golden. Looks like typical whiskey. Do they add coloring? Possibly. It doesn't indicate that. It tells you about the flavoring. Seemed like if they were adding if they're going to tell you they added flavoring, seem like they would tell you they added coloring too, right? We know it's aged at least 4 years. All right, Jim Beam, James B. Beam. Well, if I get 2 more taste challenges out of this bottle, I'll be, no, I won't be surprised. I think I got enough. Hopefully. That's pretty even. Not quite, but it's pretty even. They're both the same shade of color, amber gold. So appearance won't matter. Anybody want to know the name of that liquor store in Houston, Texas? Now, if you need me to tell you about Walmart, if you say Walmart, where is that? Is that a popular place? Then, you know, get away. You're just kidding. In Louisiana, Walmart sells liquor. Okay, so there's the beer section. There's the wine section, which is on the same aisle as beer. And then on the other side of the store, I don't know why they're not together, but way on the other side of the store, depends on the Walmart. Now, they all set up differently. The one in Hammond, Louisiana, it's all together. But the, away on the other side of the store is the liquor section. And it has a big sign above it, adult beverages. And it's pretty extensive. I got to say, Walmart's only a half a mile from my house. You could go there and only buy liquor from that store. You'd never run out of videos to make. No. Unless you were just a dead set problem drinker and you just drank constantly all the time. But then your channel wouldn't last anyway because you wouldn't last. But you could just, you know, buy that at that store. Same thing with Mathern's. I could just go to Mathern's and only buy it from there. I wouldn't run out of. Let's see something. Let me try to find the name of that liquor store. Liquor store, Houston, Texas. I know exactly where it is. I just can't think of the name. I could tell you, I could drive there without a map right now. Wouldn't be a challenge at all. They'll be lighting the bonfires tonight along the Mississippi River levee in the river parishes of Louisiana, meaning St. John the Baptist and St. James Parish. And that's so Papa Noel can find his way to those parishes. And they've been doing that since 1719, I believe. But now they're elaborate. You know, they don't just make a bonfire on top of the levee. They have one shaped like a frog. There's a big one shaped like a frog. There's one shaped like an angel. And then they light them up. I bet they'll never make one shaped like a cross. That would be okay. But it's on Lyons Avenue. I know this much. Lyons Avenue. Let's see. CVS Pharmacy, Domino's Pizza. Deluxe Theater. I think it was close to that theater. Yeah, it was by a bus stop. Now that I think about it. Let's see. Ralston Discount Liquors. That's the name of it. Ralston Discount Liquors. Ralston. And it's right there north of Interstate 10. You just get off at like Hirsch Road exit. Take a right or go north and then take a left on Lyons Avenue, Lyons. And then you'd be right to Ralston Discount Liquors. And if you stay on that street, you'll get to St. Arnold Brewing Company. And I got there too early for the tour, so I was just walking around. I went on the McKee Street Bridge, an old bridge built in the 1930s. I walked across it, took some photos. So that's the name of it, Ralston Liquors. People give it 4 out of 5 stars. Yeah. John Ralston, he used to be the head coach of the Oakland Raiders. when they went to the first Super Bowl they were in, Super Bowl, the AFC, NFC World Championship game, as it was called back then. Wasn't called the Super Bowl at first. Okay, Walmart lost power early today with the wind and temples. The temples in Alaska. Temperatures. Hello, Ronald, says Maxwell. Have a nice day. You too, Maxwell. Okay. Ralston Liquors for the Royal. I'd go back to that place. Next time I go to Houston, what am I saying? I don't even need any more liquor. I saw all this Benchmark specialties come into Mathern's this week. 5 different Benchmark whiskey specialties. Full proof, 125 proof. Single barrel, small batch, top floor, bottle and bond. Good prices too. But I said, wait a minute, what am I going to do buying all of this? And somebody gave me a monetary gift for Christmas, enough to cover it. But I said, oh, I can't get to the whiskey I got now. So I didn't buy it. I wanted to try it, but, oh, well, it's no big deal. Can't try everything. Heck. All right, aroma. Yeah, smell like corn, which makes sense because bourbon whiskey is mostly corn. Yeah, corn. What else? Corn grits. What else? I'm not picking up anything else. Just smell like a bowl of grits without the salt. Actually, the grits I have don't have salt in them. You got to add salt. Boy, and if you don't, they'll be so bland. Yeah, it's kind of the same aroma over here, but. I'm picking up the oak barrel, charred oak barrel. So that means it's got to be the Jim Beam here, because I know that Royal does not have a charred oak barrel aroma. I know that much. Now, is it a huge difference, a major difference, or something like maybe a $4.75 difference? Yeah, something like that. $5 difference, let's say. Yeah, it's different. Yeah. So the Royal just doesn't have it going on. It's too bland. I said this so many times already. It's not bad aromas. It's not like you smell it and say, oh, golly, that's horrible. And you're not going to taste it and say, oh, it's so nasty. You're just going to smell it and taste it and say, it's so nothing relative to the others. So this is the Royal, and I'm getting it right on aroma only. I'm telling you right now, I'm right. Sorry, Heaven Hill. Y'all got to do better than that. Well, okay, $7.99 a bottle. I guess you don't have to do better than that. Okay, it'll work. It is the Royal. Haha. What is it? 5 straight times now? Aroma only? How about that? How you love that? Okay. Well, we'll just taste it for Auld Lang Syne. Yeah. Yeah. When you taste it, there is a little caramel and there's a little honeysuckle nectar and vanilla and charred oak. A little, but it's like a little bit. I said before, and I'm saying it again. It is not off flavors. It's not off-putting flavors. There's just a general lack of flavor. No problem. $7.99 a bottle. So, hey, can't complain too much. Actually, you cannot complain at all, because why would you pay that price and expect a lot? Actually, that happened once. I paid a lower price than this, and I got quite a bit. I bought, what was it, 3 years ago? I bought Bellows Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, not bourbon whiskey with flavors. Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, age 4 years. It says it on the bottle, 4 years. A liter. Mark this, a liter at Savannah discount for $5.99. I'm not kidding. That's the most incredible straight bourbon whiskey price in the world. Don't waste your time going over there to look for it. I hope you don't think it lasted more than a week at that price, because it sure did not. But it was on the shelf. I hit the store that day when it was on the shelf. $5.99 for a liter of Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, aged 4 years. just like Jim Beam is. And I got the liter for $5.99. And that's a pretty good product. Nothing great, you know, but a pretty good product. Prohibition Edition. Such a classic Jim Beam flavor. Meaning what? Like that spicy charred oak. And I say sometimes green wood. It's like the wood wasn't totally dry green. And cellar mold. You say, well, black mold in a cellar is a good flavor. In a literal sense, I wouldn't know. I don't think I ever ate black mold. But it's got that, like if my grandfather had this bomb shelter, it's still there in Baton Rouge. In the side, he built it inside of a hill, and it would always smell like that. You know, when you go down there, like this mildew and black mold, and I just remember the smell. I remember when they had beds down in there, because you know they wanted to be ready for the nuclear war, but thankfully that didn't happen. So then he ended up just storing potatoes down in there because it's always cool, you know. I don't know what's down there right now, but I wouldn't be too keen to go look. Who knows? It's kind of scary what could be down in that. There's no door to it, so anything could get in there. But that's what it reminds me of, cellar mold, black mold. That's a strange thing, isn't it? But I can always tell, like when Jim Beam, when I taste it, I'm like, yep, that's the flavor. That's the flavor. Now, it's distinctive. It's like they have a house style. I have another bottle of Jim Beam. It's called Jim Beam Black, aged 8 years. It's the old version of Jim Beam Extra. The current version is a black label, but it doesn't have an age statement. They dropped the aging on it for whatever reason. Probably didn't want to age it 8 years. Just like Old Charter from Sazerac used to be Old Charter 8-year age. Now, if you look at it, it says Old Charter 8, which is deceptive because a lot of people see that and they'll say, oh, 8 years. Even Walmart never changed their website. It'll say Old Charter, age 8 years. Right on the Walmart website, it'll say wrong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. It's just number 8. What does the number signify? Nothing, except that's the name of the product. It's age a number of years. More than 4, we know. Less than 8. Between 4 and 8 years. Couldn't tell you the answer. And Sazerac will never tell you. They also make a Mongolian oak, a French oak, and Old Charter. Could be a Mitsunara, Japanese oak, but try finding those bottles. I have a bad feeling you won't be finding them. Standard Old Charter. I mean, yeah, it's right there at Walmart. A big handle, glass handle bottle. Yeah, no problem. I have a bottle at my house. I hadn't opened it yet. We did a duo review at my friend David's house. He said, this stuff's so bland. I said, no, it's not so bland. It's just a little bland. But that's an old standby classic bourbon. It's one of the old classic bourbons. So that's coming soon. So we got Jim Beam Black coming soon. Talking about bourbon. The 8-year age. I got a bottle from like 1999. It looks like it's from 1992, but I'm going to check. I'm going to double check. I think it's 30 years old. I know where to get some more too. They still got them. True story. $34. I got mine for $32.99. They're now $34.99. Talking about a big handle bottle, baby. So I got the Jim Beam Black coming up. 8-year age. Old Charter. Very old Barton. I think it's the 90 proof. Never seen in Louisiana. I've got Heaven Hill Gold label, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, the rare gold label. Couldn't believe my eyes when I saw it in Texarkana, Arkansas. For $11.99 a liter. Oh, yes. I got G&W Kentucky Bourbon Whiskey, Gooderham and Wirtz. You say Gooderham and Wirtz. What the H is that? Well, it's an old company, actually. They were making or at least selling, maybe not making it, but having it procured for them. Gooderham and Wirtz is old, like from the 1880s. And the name is still around. The company's been going for so long. They always get bought out. These companies always be getting bought out. Even Jack Daniels got bought out. You know that. But Gooderham and Wirtz is still around, and at least in name only. Well, in bottle only too, because I got the bottle. I was shocked to see that. I was at Elio's Wine Warehouse. It's a liter bottle. And he had it for $8. So I bought it. Okay, what I'm planning on. And I got others. See what I'm saying? I can keep naming them, so there's no reason to buy more. It doesn't make any sense. It's insanity. And then blended whiskey, I got a bunch of those. But after we finish with when we finish Quality House, I got Quality House coming up. That very rare, strange oddity. The most odd thing about it is that it's unusual. And the most unusual thing about it is that it's strange. A perplexing product, to say the least. And then I'm going to go through that regimen of all the taste challenges. Don't know what will happen. Then finally, you say, "Ooh, thank goodness. Finally, it's off to Canada, the Dominion of Canada. I've got another Canadian blended whiskey ready to roll. And it is no joke. It's not some little bottom shelf $7.99 special that I got. No, it's Crown Royal XO, aged in cognac barrels, extra old XO. And that was over $30. You say, well, that's not really expensive. I know, but when you think about the stuff I've been showcasing, it's like extraordinarily expensive. Crown Royal XO, John and Neely said he wants to do a duo review. I'll say, yes, let's do it. And so then it's going to be really rolling. And then we got Irish whiskey coming up, which will be, I think, Two Sisters. And that is produced by a company called Teeling, I think. Teeling makes Two Sisters. Teeling, Teeling. It might be another one. I could be confused. But it's a company everybody heard of. If I name the company when I look at the back of the bottle, you're going to say, I heard of them. Who hadn't heard of them? But I think it's Teeling. So that's going to be fabulous. And then Scotch whiskey, I've got... a great single malt coming up, an exciting single malt Scotch coming up called Glengassaugh. But the weird thing about this one is aged in Tennessee whiskey barrels. You say, what the what? Tennessee whiskey barrels, like Jack Daniels or something such as that. Exactly. Then I've got some blended Scotch coming up, which is what is it? I think it's Trader Joe's. True story. Trader Joe's blended Scotch whiskey. Isn't that crazy? But it could be another one. I got more than one. Then brandy's coming, French brandy, and it's called Reynal. In Europe, it's sold as 3 barrels, but I think there was some trademark issue. Like there was already a liquor around here called 3 barrels. So in the United States, it's called Reynal because that's the company that makes it. The family-owned Reynal distillery. But in England, it's the most popular brandy, and it's called three barrels. Y'all might have heard of it. But over here, it's Reynal. And it was a good price. And I always hear good things about it. And then we'll be to rum. I got so many rums, it's not even funny. That's gonna be madness. Then I got tequila. Oh, same old story. I got too many tequilas now. Craziness. And then mezcal, got some more mezcal. That's gonna be fun and interesting. And then by that time, it'd be time to wrap it all the way around and come back to bourbon. See, it's like a cycle. It just keeps going through. Doesn't it? It doesn't end. I mean, it will end one day. So, but it'll just keep going ad infinitum. So y'all have a great Christmas Eve, and let's look at the comments. Dixie Baseman said, I'd be surprised if it tasted a day, if it lasted a day at that price. Exactly. I mean, you know, I don't know if it did, because that store's got a lot of traffic. I mean, there's buku people in that store. If you go to Savannah Discount, you'd be all on top of each other because you'd be so amazed what you see in there. That's why everybody's in there. But I went back not long after it was gone, of course. Good morning from Arizona, says Angelo Zuccarelli. Good morning to you, Angelo. You going to drink some alcoholic eggnog for Christmas? I drank some this morning for Christmas Eve, but it was in coffee. You understand? It was the Trader Joe's wine-based eggnog of all things. It's a very unusual product. It's very milky. It's like milk. It's got eggs in it, but it's milk. Good flavor though, but just strange, a little bit strange. Have a great Christmas and Christmas Eve. Same to you, Angelo. Same to all of y'all. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year's Eve. Happy New Year's Eve. Yeah, in a week. Tomorrow morning we got the Christmas edition of Dawn Busters. All right, take care, everybody now.